Grim,
Yes.
we're here in San Jose.
Yes.
You're homeless. Tell
Yes.
me about it.
So, I've been out here on the streets from my own self-mind. I was taken from my family through youth, beaten a lot growing up. And, things in my life have been a war, an everyday battle for me growing up between drugs and trying to be accepted and trying to find love within myself and my surroundings and my people. I've seen good things happen to bad people. I've seen bad things happen to good people throughout my whole life. Things that just go on through experiences are things that we learn. Our self-discipline is from our own torture that we've learned how not to hurt ourselves from being hurt, or how to love ourselves from a lack of attention and love. When we get to know who we are, which is a really broad thing to say, we got to figure out differences within ourselves and understand who we are and what we want for ourselves. When I was 18, when I was 17 actually, a week or so right before my 18th birthday, I had the biggest fright in my life was I'm turning 18, I'm becoming a man. You know, I just got out of CYA. I was looking at possible prison time, and I was able to beat that. You know, I'm not gonna say what my case was, but it was a very fair case, but it was an unfair advantage on my part. Luckily, the state, being over the court, was able to grant me that freedom. Growing up, I was trained by a very well-respected man growing up. I was beaten up a lot, bullied, picked on, used like a punching bag growing up. And a man saw that,
So let's clarify. You've been out here how long?
20 years.
20 years.
29 now.
So you've been out here since you're 9 years old. So when you're talking about growing up, punching bag, you're talking about out here? Or
Talking about in group homes, shelters, foster homes, on the street, traveling. I've learned how to fend for my life, and that's.
How does a 9-year-old survive out here?
You gotta get in where you fit in, sir. And if you don't fit in, you gotta click up with somebody to survive. And survival is the way to live, and living is life. Sometimes we gotta do things in our life we don't like to do or we don't want to do, but we have to do those things.
And for a 9-year-old kid,
Yes.
you're developing that, and you're learning the streets, you're learning drugs, you're learning violence, you're learning how to survive.
How to be a gang member, how to be somebody I wasn't, somebody I wanted to be, but realized that's not who I wanted to be. And I was gifted many opportunities, and I blithely growing up spit in their face, just because of a lack of knowledge and education.
So what do you mean by that?
Say somebody was trying to offer their help to me, and I said, I don't want your help, I can do this, I got this, and I ended up digging my own grave.
Yeah, but it's also, you're out here in survival mode. You learned to do that, because a lot of people that were trying to help you probably took advantage of you.
Exactly.
So
Now it's like I'm asking for help in my music to help sign me to a label or something to get off the street, become something that I know I could be, that I have the capability and the willpower to do.
what's homelessness like here in San Jose?
It has its moments for anybody, really. I've had some of the best times of my fucking life, dude, being homeless. Oh man, the best. But in the same hand, I've watched murders happen. I've seen rape happen. I've seen things that nobody should ever see happen.
And you grew up here, so did you ever get any sense of what a family unit was like? Because you're very self-aware.
I've never really had a family growing up. I knew what a family could have been like. to not have my father growing up. Never really had my father. I had a dad. My dad was black, of course. He's from Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I was raised by that father figure of the Midwest back east mentality. He raised me with some good morals, but his intentions were fucked up. Or part of my French, messed up. But if it wasn't for my dad being there, I don't think I would have been the man I am now with the knowledge I have. My father, I was taken away for some issues. I'm also a father too. I'm a father to a 5-year-old boy.
So you were taken away at 9 because you were being abused. And you ran away because the system sucks.
Yeah.
Foster homes suck.
Yeah,
CYA,
all around California Youth Authority, it sucked, man. It's just all around the board. And it was all trying to become something that I wasn't. You know, try to become somebody, try to get into a group that I wanted to become because I thought they were somebody cool, but they weren't. So I learned to just be on my own, stand on my own, fight for my own, strive to be who I can be on my own. And you can't in this world. There's no way possible you can ever do it on your own. Growing up, I was always told, don't be afraid to ask for help. Well, I'm no longer afraid. I'm discouraged to ask for help because all the help I've ever asked for, I've never gotten. Now I'm just struggling and striving and I'm drowning in this water of apathy. And I'm in total anguish.
Now, we met earlier today.
Yeah.
Walking by, and I said hello, but I didn't have socks on me. And you just were walking by and you said hello to me.
Yep.
There was something about you when I saw you earlier that, you're out here by yourself, look like you're trying to make the best of it.
That's all you can do. It's life. I mean, God, growing up, I believe in God now. I'll say that much. I believe in God. I believe there was a God. I believe there is a God. And in 2017, I hung myself. I died for 32 hours here in San Jose. I came back. I mean, when most people say they've gone to hell, no, I remember it all. I went through the flames. I met Lucifer. I've been to hell. And to truly be able to go through and go back through it again, it's more than an honor, it's a privilege because I actually was able to come back through it because I had true love for myself. To know that much, I believe in God because I saw her. I know there is a God. There has to be.
I believe strongly in God because I had an experience very similar.
Yeah.
I don't think if I just a Bible study and some prayer, I wouldn't believe. I had to see it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Now, so you were suicidal, obviously.
No. There's a point where I'm not suicidal. I'm more like homicidal. but I'm not either one-sidal. There's a point to a person where they have taken every outlet, every aspect, and they have been let down, they have been misguided, misled, and they have been dropped off just to rot, and they don't understand what to do or how to do it. I once loved a woman, and she took my kid away because I did drugs. Now, I threw away 7 years of sobriety, my choice. The day I met her, she was high on meth. I threw that away to be with her because I knew she had something in her. She had something that I saw in her. And she took my kid away because I did meth. And that's one of my biggest things that eat me away is...
So you were sober out here for 7 years?
Yeah, I actually drank alcohol. I had a job. I had my own spot. You know, I was trying
So
to
you
get my
were
life.
working while you were out here. That's
Yeah.
got to be tough. And
Yeah.
staying sober is tough.
Yeah, I mean, I drank liquor, but I was a functioning person.
Right.
Functioning of society.
And woman and drugs, and you don't have your kid, but you could get sober again.
Oh, I could. And if I had, see, when it comes to sobriety, you know, rehab is a joke. It's a waste of money, if you know what I mean.
Oh my gosh, that's what everybody keeps on saying. You got to send people to treatment, and they don't understand. After 38 days or 90 days, they exit you right back to homelessness. Right?
Yeah.
You know, you detox, you get off, you get clean, you get a taste of sobriety,
And then they're like,
you're back out here where you're seeing and living in hell, where you have to, you know, escape the pain, and there's nothing better to escape pain
than to use drugs.
Right.
And, you know, people think, oh, it's okay, drugs are great. No. To numb your pain and to immerse your sorrow, it's only going to build it up later, so when you're sober, it's going to set in and it's going to really fuck.
Right. Well, then you get the cycle that you do something stupid when you're wasted, and you didn't really plan on it, but you know you had to do drugs because you're getting dope sick or whatever.
Yep.
And then you start getting sober up, and you start thinking about, oh man, I did drugs again, and the pain comes up, so you do more drugs to get, and it's this cycle. And people that never did drugs don't understand that. They just think, oh, you're a drug addict, you can just get off.
No.
You know? And I always say, well, you know, just stop eating that chocolate cake. How you doing with that chocolate cake?
You know, I drank alcohol, liquor for like 7-8 years, and I drank hard to kill myself, finding out that I would just end up drinking myself to sleep every night. And then I ended up getting to a point where I'd wake up at like 5:45 in the morning, and I started doing shakes to the liquor store.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm a light sleeper.
Yeah.
And I realized, I even shared it on social media earlier today. If it wasn't for drugs, I never would have slept. I mean, you know, there's chances, because I lost everything in the '08 crash, good chance I'm going to end up homeless again. I don't know how I'm going to survive sober, because I'm not going to sleep.
No. I mean, of course not. You don't mind if I light the cigarette up, you?
No.
So, you know, there is a point to every drug. You know, let me make it clear. To every drug in the world, what makes a drug is that it was a medication at one point. Whether or not it is legal or illegal or not, a drug is a medication. Now, for crystal methamphetamines, now, that, my people, that is not a drug. That is a stimulant. That is why it is the worst one of all.
Yeah.
People get the history of crystal meth backwards. Now, the reason why meth is the worst because, first of all, meth was created in Japan. How are you doing, Maggie?
Hello.
Not right now, though. I'm in the middle of an interview.
You're fine.
I hate cameras. Hey,
Yeah.
you see the answer?
I haven't.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Doesn't matter where it comes from. No
So-
drugs that alters the mind is good. But everybody's brain chemistry is different.
yeah. And when you're out here,
You gotta survive.
you gotta survive.
And I would really, really, really love to have a reason, a good meaning, a purpose to want to stop using drugs, to get my head focused. I was doing good when I had my kid, but
Yeah. Now, my battery's about ready to go
Yeah.
die. Otherwise, I would talk to you forever. I just noticed. If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
to become a rock star, to have my family, and to have a different life I never had.
Hey, gosh, you've been out here since 9 years old for 20 years.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
still-
well, yeah. I've been through hell and back.
You okay?
I'm just going through a lot of pain. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what not to believe anymore.
Where are you sleeping tonight?
Hopefully inside of a spot where I get a shower, but on the concrete where I have more bed bugs in these pants than I do in my sleeping bag, I hope. I'm sleeping outside and I don't want to sleep outside anymore.
Is anybody helping you?
No. I mean, as far as I know, no. But there are people out here that do the best they can to be there for me and do the best they can to keep me afloat.
Well, Grim, it was an honor to meet you.
Thank you. What was your name again?
My name is Mark.
Mark? Thank you.
And be seeing you all week. And thank you very much for talking to me.
You too. Enjoy.